have a little look what Sky News is saying, though. To be honest, Sky News are pretty rubbish now. They used to be quite good, but Sky News are just so, I don't know, hardly worth watching sometimes. So, yeah, now, because of course this has been brewing, hasn't it? Because another revelation as far as the Epstein files was concerned, well, one every 5 minutes is a revelation, was that Stansted Airport in the UK has been used for trafficking girls. So then all these different police forces have got involved. Police pictured arriving at Sandringham. Let's have a look. Something's going to happen to Andrew. He's going to do something to himself, or someone's going to do something to him. Oh, it's his birthday. It's his 66th birthday. And the police have turned up. So these are believed to be police near Andrew's Wood Farm home. Is it sharing? No, it's not. Let's have a look. Happy birthday, Andrew. Feliz cumpleaños. This is the police are supposedly arriving to take him away. So prior to his address, Sir Keir Starmer said, "Nobody is above the law. Anybody who has any information should testify. So whether it's Andrew or anybody else, anybody who's got relevant information should come forward to whatever the relevant body is." In this particular case, we're talking about Epstein, but there are plenty of other cases. Anyone who's got information relating to any aspect of violence against women and girls has, in my view, a duty to come forward. Yeah. Well, so he's been arrested, but he's been arrested for this an extraordinary moment. Let's have a look at that.
Haz que cada plan te rente. Llévate hasta 100 euros cada año de cashback al pagar tus suscripciones favoritas y olvídate de las comisiones al pagar y sacar dinero en el extranjero sin límite, incluso los fines de semana. Todo esto y mucho más con tu tarjeta Aqua Máxima. Hazte de BBVA. ¿Avanzamos?
This release of the Epstein files. And what I keep hearing time and again from palace sources is we need to look at the enormity of what they have done so far, because people keep pressing, saying we need to hear from the king, we need to hear a level of accountability, we need to see him taking control of this situation. But ultimately, this is an institution, but it is also a family, and no doubt there have been very difficult conversations going on behind the scenes between the king and his brother. But yeah, I think it was very important for them last week's misconduct in a public office for the royal family to appear on the front foot and say if they were approached by police forces in terms of.
So I just want to talk about this. So we must not forget all these people here, you know, Princess Anne, Sarah Ferguson, the church. This was at that funeral, wasn't it, that he went to not long ago. They're all chatting to him, talking to him. The only reason he's a pariah now is because of pressure from social media, etc. He was going to christenings and weddings and Christmas celebrations. He's still living in a mansion. He said nothing. There was nothing. It's just lip service saying, oh yeah, Andrew, he's take away his titles. Yeah, exactly, West Side, acting like nothing was going on. Because half of the church is involved in PDF scandal anyway. King Charlie Boy, most of his friends were PDFs. Jimmy Savile, that other archbishop that was, he tried to, let's not forget that Charlie Boy, when that archbishop was being investigated for PDF charges, Charlie Boy tried to intervene on his behalf. We can't forget these things. This is not just Andrew. Andrew's been thrown under the bus, but it's not just him who's got these connections, dodgy connections. It is so big, and it's hopefully going to topple the whole royal family. I hope so, because I think they all know. If they weren't involved with it, they knew about it. They knew, and they didn't say anything until suddenly it looks like it might affect them. And I noticed that Weak Willie, as I call him, William, he's trying to talk up about his mental health. And you just think, well, what about the victims' mental health? What about all Epstein's victims? Their mental health wasn't too clever. You weren't interested in talking about that. Now you're there talking about your mental health, and we're all supposed to feel sorry for you. You want to, mental health is a serious thing. But do you know what? Try having mental health and not being a prince next in line for the throne. Try and deal with mental health then. See how much more difficult it is than dealing with mental health when you've got every facility at your disposal. Hi, Admit. We've gone from talking about Gus Lamont to talking about Andrew. I'm trying to change the I want to change the thumbnail because people will think. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish there, just because I will come on later and talk about this arrest and also when we know a bit more. Let's just watch the end of this video though.
Of any ongoing investigations, then they would help provide information if it was requested from them. So it's really important not to underestimate how big a deal it was, that statement that they released last week. The last thing that they've wanted to do.
Yeah, there he is. This is after
kind of
the Epstein
blow up the story and even further around.
There he is, right in the centre of everybody. Do you know? It's like he didn't even take a back seat at that funeral. You think he would have stayed at the back and kept a low key? No, because he's got no shame. And they let him do that because they don't care. Really, they don't care. None of those people there care about Epstein's victims until it starts to maybe affect their lives. They don't care. It's the furthest world away from them. Half of those people there from the church are probably all PDFs as well. And the thing is, this was where William pretended he didn't really want to talk to Andrew. He touched his nose, didn't he? But he was probably saying behind his hand, oh, the cameras are on us. He's been friendly with Andrew for ages. He's friendlier with Andrew than he is with his brother, who really, whatever crime people think he did, what crime did he do? He went off to America with the woman he loved and his children because he couldn't stand living in that toxic situation anymore. And William's nicer to Andrew than he is to Harry. They all are, It's just, you just think, where's the priorities here? Who's the PDF? And of course, Andrew will know. I do think Andrew will have a lot of secrets about the rest of the royal family. It's like you think about what you know about your family. I know what I remember everything. They're not secrets like these lot have got. But, just things like, because people change over years, don't they? you know, they become more sort of, they seem like more harmless. But I remember things from my family where people maybe weren't the way they are now. I remember all of it because I was there. And, you know, they're nothing like these secrets in this family. But I think you know what I mean. You know, when it's your family, you know all the skeletons in the closet, the mistakes people make. We all make mistakes. You know, you'd be wrong to think, you know, we all do, including me. You know, so I'm not saying I've never made mistakes. I've made loads of mistakes, but they haven't been like these mistakes. But you know what I'm saying. So I think Andrew will know so much about the rest of the royal family. Andrew could bring the royal family down just by telling those about Charles and Camilla, for example. Or what does he know about William and Kate's relationship, which is as false as anything. Just seems obvious to me it's completely false. They don't want all that coming out, do they? Because then the whole institution of the monarchy is at risk. So they're trying to throw him under the bus, but they've probably got to act a little bit carefully because he could throw them under the bus quite easily, I think.
On the Epstein scandal. But as we know, last year the King stripped Andrew of his titles, of his home, because this is all becoming too much of a distraction. And yeah, I think what we have seen with the ongoing revelations and allegations that have come from these files is that really this is an issue that the royal family have very little control over. And now it's important that we reiterate the breaking news story today is that Thames Valley Police have arrested what they say a man in his 60s in Norfolk on suspicion of misconduct in a public office. And we know
now he's another one, Edward, there was a load of scandal around him.
That Andrew Mountbatten Windsor lives in Norfolk and he's marking his 60th.
You know, he disappeared for a while, didn't he? Now he's come back and he's like back in the public view again, but he disappeared for a long while.
6th birthday today.
It is worth noting as well that Andrew has consistently and very strenuously denied any wrongdoing in previous comments regarding his association with Jeffrey Epstein. But this is a moment that really challenges that old saying that was always attributed to the late Queen, that was at the centre of kind of the way that the royal family would manage challenges.
Princess Anne chatting away to him. She doesn't give a toss about the allegations against him. And she's apparently came out and said, oh, people should be kinder to him. You know, just looking at that photo there, look at it. Look at the Archbishop. You know, I'm sorry, I haven't got any faith in these church people. To me, if you believe in God and you're really a church person, you know, if you really believe in the teachings of God and everything, you don't dress yourself up like that and put yourself above everybody else. That is like just so anti God's message, in my opinion. You don't like have people calling you Your Excellency and this, that, and the other. What a load of rubbish. So there you've got Fergie, you've got Andrew, you've got Princess Anne chatting away. She don't care about the victims. This was literally a few weeks ago.
To them, the old phrase "never explain and never complain," and this is a scandal. This is a story. This is a challenge too great to stick by that, Rhiannon. This is a moment when, like you say, the royal family has needed to take a front foot, that the King has needed to show leadership, the Buckingham Palace and the royal household has needed to be proactive and has needed to face the realities of the scale of the situation that faces a member of their family, not a member of the working royals, but a member of their family nonetheless.
Oh, not one of the working royals. So now they're saying, oh, it's okay because it's not one of the working royals. What? He's in line of succession to the throne. All this double speak. Anyway, as I say, I will be on later, I think, to talk about this. I think it's cataclysmic, isn't it? It's as far as the UK is concerned, this is massive. So, and it'll bring more heads will roll. Gosh, it's like the French Revolution, but without the violence, or the Russian Revolution without the violence. It's people have woke up, and that is thanks to social media, really, isn't it? Because years ago, when I think about it, how my parents had just blindly followed the royal family. They would just see a little bit about them on the news. I mean, they did know, though. You know, I think it was still these sort of secrets, like about Prince Philip, you know, that he had affairs or whatever. There were always rumours, but of course it was never, none of it was ever investigated properly. And these Epstein files, this Epstein, he is literally the ghost of Christmas past, isn't he? The man's been dead for years, and he's probably going to bring about the fall of the royal family. I certainly hope so. And I think, you know, but in America, Donald Trump's just carrying on regardless. People still saying, oh, he's great and this, that, and the other, and just ignoring the fact that he's actually got a conviction for sex offence. Apart from all the rumours, well, they're not even rumours. The pictures, the videos. You know, when's that going to happen? He's the next one that needs to be arrested. Anyway, there's lots more, aren't there? So, yeah, it is crucial, this. Even though he's not being arrested directly to do with bye, David, I'm finishing now anyway. But, yeah, even though he's not been arrested yet for what's involved with the Epstein files, it's only a matter of time, hopefully. At least it's a start, I suppose. I should think of that. Anyway, so anyone who's maybe coming and thinking they're going to hear about Gus Lamont, we've talked about that already. Sorry, we just got a bit sidetracked with the fact that Andrew has been arrested, but I'll be back on later to talk about that. I've got to go now for now. And I'll see all you members later as well. Thank you so much for caring about Gus. Let's concentrate on Gus in this video, really, to finish off with prayers for Gus and justice for Gus. Seems like Gus, unfortunately, will not be found alive. The police have stated that clearly, but we want this Josie one. So the big news, of course, was that the police have revealed that the charges that Josie the gun charges, are possession of a silencer, which chilled me to the bone when I heard that, which is prohibited in Australia, and it carries a possible 18-year jail sentence. Why did Josie need a silencer? Anyway, thank you. I'll see you all later. And until then, of course, may your God go with you. I don't think Andrew's God's going with him at the moment, do you? Bye.